My brothers and sisters, what if I told you that there is a time of the night when your worries stop controlling you and Allah's mercy takes over? A time when every closed door begins to open, when the problems that looked impossible suddenly start fading away. A time when your dua is heard instantly, directly, with no barriers, no delays and no rejection. Tahajjud is the time when Allah announces to the heavens, "Is there anyone calling upon me so I may answer? Is there anyone asking so I may give?" This is not an ordinary moment. It is an open invitation from the Lord of the worlds. Your dua made during the day may be delayed, but your dua in Tahajjud is carried directly to acceptance. Tahajjud is that moment of the night when your dua stops being just a request. It becomes a powerful connection with Allah that can change your destiny. When a believer stands alone in the stillness of the night, with tears in their eyes and sincerity in their heart, something extraordinary begins to happen, something that cannot happen during the rush of the day, the noise of life, or the distractions of the world. There is a deep spiritual truth hidden in the time of Tahajjud. This is the moment when Allah turns towards His servants with a special mercy that He does not grant at any other time. In that silence, your soul speaks more loudly than your words, and your tears become more eloquent than any speech you could ever make. Tahajjud is not just prayer, it is an encounter with the divine. It is the hour when your worries melt, your burdens lighten, and your heart softens in a way that daylight simply cannot provide. Most people make dua during the day, and there is nothing wrong with that. Allah hears all prayers at all times, but the dua made in the last part of the night carries a weight, a depth, a purity that sets it apart. During the day, the mind is filled with noise, thoughts, responsibilities, conversations, distractions. But at night, when you wake up deliberately, leaving the comfort of your bed, choosing worship over sleep, that sincerity elevates your dua. It becomes a sign of your devotion. It becomes a message to Allah that you truly need Him, that you trust Him, and that you are willing to sacrifice something for the sake of His closeness. This sincerity is what transforms an ordinary prayer into an answered prayer. It is what turns your dua from being just words into a powerful force that can rewrite your destiny. Think about it, when you make dua at Tahajjud, you are speaking to Allah at a time when He Himself is calling you. Not when you call upon Him, not when you seek Him, but when He seeks you. This alone is the greatest honor a person can experience in life. The Creator of the universe looks for you in the last part of the night, calling out to the heavens, "Who is there asking me so I may give? Who is seeking forgiveness so I may forgive? Who is calling upon me so I may answer?" This divine call is not metaphorical, it is real, and it happens every single night. That is why the hearts that respond to this call are the hearts that taste true peace in this world. When you pray Tahajjud, your dua rises with a unique purity. It is not influenced by ego, not rushed, not mixed with worldly distractions. It comes from a place of vulnerability, humility, and complete dependence on Allah. This vulnerability is not weakness, it is strength. Because the moment you surrender to Allah is the moment He lifts you, protects you, guides you, and rewrites the path of your life. People who pray Tahajjud often say that doors begin to open for them in ways they never imagined. Problems that felt impossible suddenly begin to shift. Hearts that felt heavy become light. Confusions become clear. Tahajjud has that power because it connects you to the one who controls every solution, every blessing, every path, and every outcome. Sometimes your dua during the day may be delayed because Allah wants you to meet Him at night. He wants you to feel what it means to be close to Him. He wants your heart to experience that level of sincerity, that depth of connection, that softening of the soul. Tahajjud is the training ground of the believers. It is where patience is strengthened, where faith deepens, and where reliance on Allah becomes unshakable. In Tahajjud, you don't just ask Allah for things, you give Him your heart. You give Him your fears, your sadness, your confusion, your guilt, your hopes, your dreams. And Allah in return gives you tranquility, clarity, guidance, and a sense of peace that no human being can ever provide. There is a famous saying among the righteous, if you want something to happen, ask during the day. But if you want the impossible to happen, ask during the night. Tahajjud is the time when the impossible becomes possible. It is the time when destinies are changed, when sins are forgiven, when hearts are healed, and when futures are rewritten. Your dew becomes light, your tears become healing, and your sujood becomes your greatest strength. When you raise your hands at Tahajjud, the heavens open for you in a way they do not open at any other time. That is the power of this blessed moment. That is why your dua during Tahajjud is not just a request, it becomes a connection capable of transforming your entire life. Every person has a chain, a habit they can't break, a sin they can't leave, a thought they can't escape, or a fear they can't defeat. Tahajjud is not just prayer, it is spiritual surgery. When you stand before Allah in the darkness, the chains that have held you for years begin to weaken and finally break. Every human being carries some kind of chain in their life. It could be a weakness they cannot overcome, a habit they fail to break, a sin they keep returning to, a fear that controls their decisions, or a painful memory that follows them no matter how far they go. These chains are rarely visible to the world, but they are deeply felt in the silence of a person's heart. No matter how strong someone may seem on the outside, there are moments when their soul knows it is trapped. Trapped in patterns, trapped in emotions, trapped in circumstances that feel unchangeable. The beauty of Tahajjud is that it targets these very chains. It does not simply address the surface, it goes straight to the root of the heart. It reaches the place where human effort stops and divine help begins. This is why Tahajjud has been called the worship of the broken, the desperate, the sincere, and the hopeful. It is the moment where Allah gives you a strength that does not come from your muscles, your mind, or your willpower, but from your heart, and more importantly, from His mercy. During the day, people fight their battles in many ways. They try to be disciplined, they try to control their desires, they try to stay focused, they try to fight their weaknesses. But the reality is, the human will alone is not enough to conquer certain things. There are addictions that logic cannot break, emotional wounds that time cannot heal, temptations that advice cannot remove, and fears that courage cannot silence. This is where Tahajjud enters as a divine gift. When you stand in the last part of the night, when your eyes are heavy, your body is tired, and the world is asleep, you are not just standing physically, you are standing spiritually in a place that shakes the chains of your soul. The power of Tahajjud comes from the humility it creates. In the darkness of the night, you are not performing for anyone, you are not impressing anyone, you are not proving anything to the world. You are simply a servant standing before your Lord, admitting your weakness and asking for His strength. This moment of honesty is rare. Most people hide their problems from others, and even from themselves. But in Tahajjud, there is no hiding. You pour out the truth of your heart. You tell Allah what you cannot tell people. You cry over what no one knows you are suffering from. You admit to what no one else has heard you say. This level of truth breaks the ego. And when the ego breaks, the chains begin to loosen. Chain breaking does not always happen instantly. Sometimes it happens slowly, quietly, and gradually. A person begins to notice that the sin they used to fall into every day becomes harder for them to do. The anger that used to explode easily begins to fade. The anxiety that suffocated them begins to ease. The temptation that once controlled them loses its power. This change does not come because the problem disappeared. It comes because Allah placed light in the person's heart, and when light enters, darkness loses its strength. That is the secret of Tahajjud. It brings light into the darkest corners of your soul. Another profound truth about Tahajjud is that it transforms your inner world before it changes your outer world. Many people want their circumstances to change first. They want their life to become easy, their hardships to disappear, their desires to weaken, their fears to go away. But Tahajjud works differently. It does not start by removing the external challenge, it starts by strengthening the internal believer. You may wake up after Tahajjud and find that your problems are still there, your challenges remain, your tests continue. But you will also find that your heart is no longer the same. What used to break you no longer breaks you. What used to scare you no longer scares you. What used to tempt you no longer attracts you. This is not because your life improved. It is because you improved. There is a special strength that Allah gives during Tahajjud, a strength that is not given during the day. It is a strength that makes you capable of resisting what once defeated you. It makes you capable of forgiving what once hurt you. It makes you capable of walking away from what once chained you. It makes you capable of choosing what pleases Allah even when your desires pull in the opposite direction. This is why the scholars say, the one who wants to conquer their soul must stand at night. Tahajjud is not merely prayer, it is a battlefield where you fight your weaknesses with the help of the most powerful. It is where chains that have been locked for years begin to crack. It is where you find freedom not from the world, but from your own self. And whoever finds freedom from themselves has found the greatest freedom in this life. People wake up tired, stressed, and empty because their hearts carry darkness, wounds, guilt, sadness, disappointment. But the one who wakes up for Tahajjud wakes up with Noor. This Noor is not on the face only, it is inside the heart. This is the secret. Tahajjud doesn't just solve your problems. It purifies the heart so problems stop controlling you. There is a kind of darkness that no electricity can remove, no sunlight can brighten, and no smile can hide. It is the darkness that settles inside the heart, made of sadness, guilt, stress, disappointment, regret, and the heavy emotions that slowly drain a person from within. Many people walk through life carrying this invisible weight. They function, they work, they laugh, they socialize, but deep down their heart feels tired, empty, or restless. The day might be filled with activity, but the soul remains dim. What most people do not realize is that Tahajjud offers a unique kind of light. A light that the day can never provide, because it does not come from the sun, from people, or from circumstances. It comes directly from Allah, placed gently into the heart of the one who seeks Him in the quiet of the night. This light is not physical. It is not seen with the eyes, it is felt. It is recognized through peace, calmness, clarity, and a sense of relief that washes over the heart like cool rain over dry land. When a person stands for Tahajjud, even briefly, they are doing something extraordinary. They are stepping away from the noise of the world and entering a space where the soul can finally breathe. During the day, the heart is attacked by stress, responsibilities, distractions, and endless thoughts. But during the last part of the night, the heart finds stillness. In that stillness, Allah places a special Noor, a spiritual illumination that purifies the heart from the inside. People often think that the purpose of Tahajjud is to ask for things, forgiveness, guidance, ease, help, relief. And while asking is part of it, there is a deeper miracle happening in the background. The real miracle is that Allah is healing your inner world while you stand before Him. Even if your words are few, even if you do not find the perfect do, even if your heart is trembling or your mind is scattered, the very act of waking up for Tahajjud is an invitation for divine light to enter your life. This light clears confusion, reduces emotional burden, and makes the heart stronger, calmer, and more stable. There are people who wake up every morning with heaviness in their chest. They are unsure why they feel this way. Nothing terrible may have happened, yet the heart feels unsettled. It is because the heart absorbs darkness during the day through sins, stress, bad influences, painful memories, and the disappointments of life. These things do not simply disappear, they settle inside. But Tahajjud cleans these internal wounds in ways that no therapy, no conversation, and no distraction can. After praying Tahajjud, people often say that their heart feels lighter, even if their problems remain the same. This is because the light of Tahajjud does not change your situation first. It changes you. Tahajjud gives the heart what it cannot find anywhere else: purity. Not the purity of perfection, but the purity of sincerity. When you wake up and stand before your Lord at a time when no one sees you, no one praises you, no one expects anything from you, your worship becomes pure. You are not performing, you are connecting. That sincerity alone becomes a magnet for divine light. It is a moment when the heart speaks freely, when the eyes cry without embarrassment, and when the soul admits its need without fear. It is this level of truth that becomes the vessel through which Allah pours tranquility into the heart. There is also a beautiful secret in Tahajjud. When the world sleeps, the heart wakes up. During the day, the world takes priority. Work, people, tasks, conversations. At night, only Allah remains. In that moment of exclusivity, Allah honors His servant by placing light into their chest. This light does not make life perfect. It does something far more powerful. It gives you the strength to handle whatever life brings with dignity, patience, and clarity. Problems stop overwhelming you. Fear stops controlling you. Sadness stops drowning you. You begin to see the world differently, with a kind of wisdom and calm that others cannot understand. This is why those who pray Tahajjud often have faces that shine with peace. Not because their lives are easy, but because their hearts are illuminated. This Noor guides them through hardships, protects them from spiritual harm, and keeps them grounded when the world becomes chaotic. It gives them an inner stability, an emotional resilience, and a spiritual confidence that only comes from knowing that Allah has placed light inside them. Tahajjud does not promise a life without problems, but it promises a heart that can rise above problems. It promises a soul that remains calm even in storms. It promises a light that never turns off, a peace that does not depend on circumstances, and a connection that gives meaning to every challenge. That is the power of Tahajjud's light, the kind of light that the day can never give. Many people sleep with their problems hoping tomorrow will be better. But the one who stands in Tahajjud creates a better tomorrow. When your forehead touches the ground, Allah places calmness in your heart, wisdom in your mind, and solutions in your destiny. Suddenly things you were confused about become clear. Opportunities appear, paths open. Many people go to sleep with heavy hearts, unanswered questions, and problems that keep them awake even when their eyes are closed. They lie down hoping that tomorrow will magically fix everything, that a new day will somehow bring new solutions. But the truth is, tomorrow does not change anything unless you change something before tomorrow comes. And that something is Tahajjud. There is a secret hidden in the last part of the night. When a believer stands before Allah during Tahajjud, solutions begin to form long before the sun rises. The night becomes a place where confusion turns into clarity, sadness turns into calmness, and chaos turns into order. This transformation does not happen through logic or planning. It happens because the one who controls everything decides to open a path for you. When you wake up for Tahajjud, you are not just praying, you are stepping into a moment when Allah is closest to His creation. This closeness is not symbolic, it is real. It changes the way your heart thinks, the way your mind processes, and the way your soul responds to your challenges. You may come to Tahajjud with a heart full of stress, broken expectations, or emotional exhaustion. You may stand with tears, unsure of what to ask for, or even how to explain what you are feeling. You may not have the words, because sometimes the heart is too tired to speak. But the beauty of Tahajjud is that Allah understands your silence more deeply than people understand your words. He hears your heartbeat, your fear, your hope, and your pain, even if your tongue says nothing. And from that silent sincerity, He begins to create solutions. A person who prays Tahajjud experiences something special. They begin to see things differently. They begin to understand which paths are harmful, which people are not meant to stay, which decisions need patience, and which doors should not be opened. These insights are not coincidences. They are guidance. When you stand before Allah at a time when the world sleeps, He places wisdom inside you that you could never gain from books or advice or experience alone. You wake up with a clearer mind. Ideas come, decisions become easier, your heart feels lighter. This is not magic, it is mercy. Even more amazing is how Allah arranges the world around you after you pray Tahajjud. He brings opportunities your way, sometimes small, sometimes unexpected, sometimes perfectly timed. A phone call, a message, a meeting, a thought, a chance, a change. Things begin moving in your favor without you even trying. People call this coincidence. Believers know it is the response to a night prayer. It is the unseen help that comes from a Lord who promised, "Call upon me and I will respond to you." The difference is that Tahajjud is a call made at the time when acceptance is at its peak. There is also a powerful truth about Tahajjud. It produces results even when you don't see them immediately. Sometimes the solution is created in the unseen world long before it appears in your physical life. Allah may be aligning people, opportunities, or situations that will benefit you. He may be protecting you from disasters you didn't even know were coming. He may be shaping your future in ways you cannot yet understand. But every time you stand for Tahajjud, you are planting seeds of mercy, guidance, blessings, and solutions. Some seeds grow fast, some take time, but none of them go to waste. Another deep secret is that Tahajjud strengthens your heart so much that even if your external problems remain for a while, they no longer crush you. You become emotionally tougher, spiritually calmer, and mentally clearer. You begin to feel that whatever happens is under Allah's control, and that He is guiding you step by step toward what is best. This inner peace itself is a solution, because many problems feel heavier only because the heart is weak. When the heart is strengthened through Tahajjud, the problem may remain the same size, but your heart becomes bigger, more capable, more stable than before. Imagine waking up before Fajr, placing your forehead on the ground, and whispering your fears to the one who already knows them. Imagine asking for direction and waking up with a mind full of clarity. Imagine crying in sujud and finding your heart surprisingly calm afterward. Imagine entering the day not with stress, but with confidence that Allah has already set things in motion for you. This is what Tahajjud does. It brings solutions even before the sun rises. It gives you a morning that begins not with anxiety, but with the certainty that Allah is taking care of you. And that certainty itself is the greatest solution of all. My brothers and sisters, Tahajjud is not just a prayer, it is a lifeline. Your problems may look huge, but they are nothing before the one who can fix them in a single moment. If you truly want to change your life, heal your heart, and bring peace into your home, start with Tahajjud. Even 2 rak'ah, even 2 minutes. There is something incredibly beautiful and deeply moving about worship that is done when no one is watching. In the world we live in, almost everything is public. Our achievements, our struggles, our happiness, our sadness, even our worship. But Tahajjud is different. It is private. It is intimate. It is a secret conversation between you and your Lord, hidden behind the silence of the night. When you stand before Allah at that time, the act is so sincere that even the angels are amazed at the purity of it. And because of this sincerity, the night itself becomes a witness for you. It testifies to your effort, your sacrifice, your tears, and your longing for Allah. This is a special honor, one that is not given to everyone. It is reserved for those who choose Allah over sleep, who choose closeness over comfort, who choose sincerity over show. Tahajjud carries a unique spiritual weight because no one sees it except Allah. There are no cameras, no compliments, no applause, no appreciation from people. It is not like charity which people may notice, not like community work which people may praise, not like loud recitation which people may hear. Tahajjud is the purest form of worship because it is done for no other reason except love and dependence on Allah. That level of sincerity is powerful. When a deed is done purely for Allah, it becomes a shield around your life. It becomes a source of protection over your family, your health, your rizq, and your future. Allah never allows the sincerity of the night to be lost during the day. There is a deep truth here. The person who prays Tahajjud is never truly alone. Even if they feel lonely in the world, even if people misunderstand them, hurt them, abandon them, or betray them, their nights keep them connected to the one who never leaves. When you stand in Tahajjud, you are building a relationship with Allah that is stronger than any bond with human beings. This relationship becomes your support in hardship, your comfort in sadness, your guidance in confusion, and your protection in times of fear. Life will always have storms, but the one who has a relationship with Allah built in the night will never drown. Many people wonder why some individuals have an inner peace that nothing seems to shake, why they remain calm even when life throws difficulties, why they stay strong even when they face losses, why their hearts feel steady even when everything around them is unstable. The reason is simple: their strength was built in the quiet hours of the night. Tahajjud gives you a spiritual backbone. It anchors your heart. It teaches you to rely on Allah so deeply that the world loses control over you. People who pray tahajjud do not collapse easily. They may cry, they may feel pain, they may struggle, but they never break, because Allah is holding them from within. There is also a hidden blessing in tahajjud that many overlook. When the world does not witness your worship, Allah Himself becomes your witness. And when He witnesses a deed, He honors it in ways you cannot imagine. He softens hearts toward you. He opens doors you did not knock on. He defends you when you are absent. He protects you when you are unaware. He sends help before you even ask. He forgives sins you forgot you committed. He writes your name among His beloved servants. This is not because of the quantity of your prayer, but because of the sincerity of it. Even 2 raka'at prayed sincerely at night can change how the entire day unfolds. The night prayer also becomes a witness for you on the day of judgment. When people stand before Allah with their public deeds displayed, you will stand with the quiet nights that nobody knew about. Nights when you left your bed, wiped your tears, whispered your hopes, confessed your weaknesses, and placed your heart before Allah. Those nights will speak for you. They will testify on your behalf. This servant loved you, O Allah. This servant sought you while others slept. This servant cried to you while others forgot. And Allah, the most merciful, will never reject the testimony of a night filled with sincerity. Tahajjud builds a connection with Allah that nothing in life can break. It creates a bond that becomes your greatest source of peace, your strongest protection, and your most reliable support. When you give Allah the quietest part of the night, He gives you strength in the loudest parts of the day. When you give Him your hidden worship, He gives you visible blessings. And when you give Him your sincerity, He gives you His closeness, a closeness that makes every hardship bearable, every worry lighter, and every step in life guided by divine care. This is the secret gift of tahajjud, a relationship with Allah so strong that no storm in this world can ever break it. Start small, but start tonight. One of the most profound truths about tahajjud is that it has the power to completely reshape the course of your life, not by changing the world around you first, but by transforming you from the inside out. People often look for solutions outside themselves, new jobs, new plans, new relationships, new environments. But the greatest changes in life don't begin externally, they begin internally. They begin in the heart. And tahajjud is the one moment when the heart is at its purest, its softest, its most honest, and its closest to Allah. When a person prays tahajjud consistently, they begin to notice changes in their personality, in their thinking, in their reactions, and in the way they carry themselves through life. Their character begins to mature in a way that no book, no lecture, and no motivational speech could ever achieve. This inner transformation creates the outer transformation that people spend their whole lives searching for. The person who wakes up for tahajjud learns discipline in a way that daytime habits cannot teach. They learn sacrifice because they leave their bed when their body wants to sleep. They learn consistency because they keep returning to the night, even when life becomes busy, stressful, or painful. They learn sincerity because no one is watching them except Allah. They learn humility because they stand as a servant before their Creator at a time when the world is silent. This discipline becomes part of their character. It spills into their daily routine. It strengthens their focus. It improves their self-control. It teaches them to prioritize what truly matters. Even their worldly decisions become wiser because a disciplined heart leads to a disciplined life. Another powerful transformation that tahajjud creates is emotional balance. People today struggle with anger, anxiety, stress, impatience, and frustration. These emotions cloud judgment, weaken relationships, and drain the soul. But the person who speaks to Allah at night, cries before Him, confesses their fears, and surrenders their heart begins to develop an emotional stability that surprises even themselves. They stop reacting impulsively. They stop overthinking every problem. They stop collapsing under pressure. They become calmer, more patient, more forgiving, and more emotionally intelligent. This emotional control is not something they learn from a book. It is something Allah places in their chest as a reward for standing before Him in the quiet night. Tahajjud also increases spiritual confidence. The one who prays at night knows deep in their heart that they are not walking through life alone. They begin to feel guided, they feel supported, they feel protected. They trust their decisions more because their decisions are no longer based on fear or confusion. They are based on a heart connected to Allah. This confidence is not arrogance, it is reliance. It is the quiet certainty that whatever happens, Allah will never abandon them. This certainty changes the way they face hardships. Instead of breaking down, they rise. Instead of panicking, they turn to Allah. Instead of questioning their worth, they remember that Allah Himself called them to meet Him at night. This gives them a dignity and inner strength that no worldly achievement can offer. Consistency in tahajjud also purifies intentions. A person may start praying at night because they want something: success, forgiveness, relief, guidance. But as they continue, something beautiful happens. Their heart begins to love the prayer itself. They begin to love the sujood, love the silence, love the tears, love the closeness, love the peace. Their relationship with Allah becomes deeper and more sincere. Their worship during the day becomes stronger. Their sins become fewer. Their conscience becomes sharper. They start thinking twice before doing anything that displeases Allah, because the connection they built at night becomes too precious to risk. This spiritual sensitivity shapes their character, softens their attitude, and beautifies their behavior. Perhaps the most remarkable transformation of all is that tahajjud opens the door to divine guidance. When you give Allah your nights, He guides your days. He puts ideas in your heart that you never thought of. He removes people from your life who were harming you. He brings people into your life who benefit your soul. He inspires you with decisions that lead to goodness. He protects you from mistakes you never knew were dangerous. He steers your life in the direction you truly need, not the direction you blindly want. A person who prays tahajjud doesn't just live life, they live guided. Tahajjud doesn't just change your night, it changes your character, your heart, your thoughts, your emotional strength, your patience, your priorities, your dreams, and ultimately your destiny. It molds you into a person who can handle life with wisdom, courage, and faith. That is the hidden miracle of tahajjud. Before it changes your circumstances, it changes you into someone who can rise above every circumstance.